Oh, okay lah. Oh, tengah ni. Oh.
Kita belakang skip dah, belakang lagi. Tak
Okey.
Kau keliru itu. Kalau keliru itu.
Yang penting kau aku cakap dah. Kau penting kau dapat dah. Halo.
Halo.
Ingat Syakira tadi.
Alamak. Ini kau dapat dia bukan bini dalam rumah.
Oi, alhamdulillah cak aku ambil gambar bahan. Yelay. Oh. Thank you. Wah, dia cat lagi tekek dengan aku dia mana? Kilat dia benda. Cat tisu penuh kepala.
This is beautiful.
Beautiful. Oh,
Sorry.
so very sharp.
Sorry to blind you guys.
Is
I
it
didn't
new
mean
model?
to.
It's a pecoke, brother.
It's very strong, man.
Pantai mata kuda. Pound betul sharp.
Tembak kat tangan.
We can use flash, right?
Saya beli gambar sakit mata ni pak dia sampai boleh.
Siapa yang kamera tadi bunyi ter... Ha?
Tu dia.
Model apa ah? Macam aku tengok.
Dia tu satu elektronik saja. Itu yang Brazil tadi, yang Brazil.
Oh, buat betul. Oh,
Brazil ni.
buat je. Ganggu audio pun. Okay.
Itu sebab kamera jabat bro. Dia mesti dapat macam tu.
Nasib baiklah aku dapat bonus dari nanti. Okeylah. Memang ni kita buat. Tak masalah kamera aku sejuk. Pasal dia kabus kan. Oh, dah bukan nampak belakang putih. No. Rasa empal lah aku cakap. Okay, boleh. Michelle, okay Michelle? Are you okay Michelle? Oh, very okay. Oh, ambil program ambil. Nice flower. Aku nak ambil lah. Ada bumper.
You did?
Oh, nampak je. Tak, dia sampai dia stop. Alah, sekejap kau pula lah. Apa aku bagi Afrika di sini boleh tak? TV, kesian.
Tu Shakira.
Macam
Tak ada tu cekak dengan cari.
Nah. Assume belief. Once.
Why?
Because of the yes.
Brazil lain bro. Malah. Oh mau ambil.
This up.
Di sana 3 hari dia menang comel. Aku cakap dia.
3 hari.
Pengalaman kahwin.
3 hari ya.
3 hari kahwin comel. Dia nunggu pak. Kahwin begini. Orang tak lagi kahwin begini. Comel.
3 hari.
Dia orang pergi retake pula
Untuk malam
dengan KLCC lah.
Kerja di mana?
MO.
Siapa?
Suruh aku dah nampak TV luar negara tu. Mana foto dia?
Kan
Mana lagi?
Cepatlah aku nak
MO lah dekat E.
No picture.
Yang kaki je.
Cadence jauh sikit
But you're present for your country. But you're present on your country. Yeah, of course. Alright.
Apa cik Syakira tadi lah bang? Tak, apa cik Syakira tadi lah, macam Syakira ni.
Jangan dekat bau Bil. Dapat bau Bil. Aku cakap dia tu lah. Lepas ni kau ambil bau lah. Betul-betul dia. Memang bau lah. Ingat sekejap kawan. Sekejap. Duduk. Aku nak sampai mata sini. Salam.
Sikap saya tu.
So Sana, no physical what Angel? No physical what? Physical abuse. What do you mean disappeared? Oh, he's behaving it. So he shake a fella, shake. Young child. It's so weird. A Robert, shake it. Lack of something. In fact, it's good idea. You know what I want to ask you? No. So, can I stand and be in front of your pictures? Oh, Copa favor. Our flag, not a table flag. It needs to be turned the other way around. Wabona inti ya? No,
Kecuali kan judge tu. Kecuali kan judge. Kau pernah buat.
right hand abang right hand. How to? Yeah. Patience juga. Yeah. Yeah, but we are seeing into a white area. Gonna flag ya gonna inti na isinya na. So we just want to hide that stem. Above the stem. Yeah, that. Yeah. If you just twist it hanya you can do it now. No.
No, you ask Michelle. You ask Michelle.
Oh.
You ask them.
Hi, Michelle.
No.
Our flag from way back. That's why. Is it possible maybe to turn it around slightly? Yeah. Is it? But what possible? We can repeat otherwise. Right. Rotate this direction. Okay, then I'm going to check it. Well, I do. Yeah.
Dah silang. Kota yang menurut kau. Kau janganlah sombong diri juga. Untuk dia menjaga diri dia. Tak, sejak lagu dia ambil sejak tu akan kena hujung presiden. So, dia tanya dia tak pindah kan. Apa semua sibuk pindah kan. Dia dah tak kompulsi. Kalau kan Tuhan dia kena ke.
Dia kejap sebenarnya.
Dia kejap sebenarnya. Right, tak nampak. Dah.
More colors to work with.
We like colours.
I think the flying color.
Yeah.
Alright.
Stand here.
Ini kena. Dia beli kan. Blok.
Basket pun saya brand.
Okay, I'll go down. It's fine.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
You see, more room for me to stand up.
No.
Shakira, come on. Kau bagi.
Guys, you don't invite me to the
Okay,
party.
come on.
Come on, man. These guys.
Come on, join me. Because I have the problem.
Ready to receive. Excellent.
You apple?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Perfect.
historical interest with us. I was one of the student leaders that demonstrated the support of your movement, the ANC, your leaders you are familiar with, and fortunately on that score we were not arrested. and Madiba or Nelson Mandela was of course householding and they moved to Israel, and I'm glad to mention to my colleagues here that we grew up in the Tambo and even Cardinal, Cardinal Desmond Tutu, I met him too, and they have extremely witty cardinal. And you was fortunate, and you're now holding the fort to ensure that you can express the ideas and aspirations of these great leaders. We have produced great leaders, although we certainly know about the sufferings that we have to endure, family, members, but what is important is that you are now at the helm, and we are of course not only delighted but extremely happy that you are here, and you can see that with the sentiment of the students, university, the professors, the lecturers, we have comfort that on the doctorate from my alma mater, of course, which I would not publicly say, but it's a great university. My other colleagues don't come from that university. and you see, I made this personal choice that Sarah Ramaphosa must get from that university. But as I said to you, President, despite the strong, sentimental, emotional ties, every trip I went to South Africa is always full of enthusiasm and delight. But we are not executing it in terms of trade, investments, culture, research, education. So it is a challenge for us, this meeting. Your visit is not just a normal diplomatic sort of engagement, but I think between true friends who share common aspirations, ideas. We admire your courage and tenacity when it comes to tackling issues, international issues, including Gaza. People do empathize with your background, historical antecedents of apartheid. You of course understand. In fact, the term apartheid became popular even in Gaza when they tried to use that. Although now it becomes genocide. But before I hand over to you, I think it's proper that I introduce my team. Otherwise, as Lula said this morning, they may quietly complain that they are not being recognized, my team. So I will use the opportunity to introduce them to you. Saifuddin Nasution, Secretary Minister of Home Affairs. In those days, the Minister of Home Affairs was responsible for all our arrests. now it's the reverse, we don't. To my left is, of course, a very colorful Minister of Investments, Trade, and has done immensely great job in terms of introducing Malaysia and getting new investments. We have surpassed our initial projections in terms of investments, particularly in the new technology, in AI, digital, and related new technology. And then to the right of Saifuddin is Khalid Nodi. Khalid Nodi is one of the Vice President of UMNO, because ANC is very good at having a point with a very important member of our coalition. And if it goes wrong, blame him. He is Minister of Defense, a very important portfolio. And I mentioned Khalid to the President you know, we had engagement before on defense, much less now. So I think we need to seriously explore. We are much more advanced in terms of defense production as compared to us. And now that our strategy to open up new trade links and market, we should seriously look at South Africa. On the left, of course, Zhang Li Kang, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, to speak. He's also one of the vice presidents of my Justice Party, so he's balanced out. Now to the right, again, is Shamsu Azri, Chief Secretary of the government. You know what Chief Secretaries are, they say generals. Yeah? They say yes to you, but they do what they like. To the left again, Mohammad Hasan, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. And then again, Sharon, Chief Secretary, the Prime Minister's Office. And Ahmad Rozian, Deputy Secretary General, Minister of Home Affairs. And the rest, of course, of the delegation. The ministers are spread out with the ASEAN meetings, including the Foreign Minister, is only chairing the Foreign Minister meeting today. So thank you again and thank you.
Well, thank you very much, my good friend, Prime Minister of Malaysia. It's a real joy to be here. And of course, greetings to our ministers and deputy ministers on both sides, and senior officials who are here present, and of course members of the media who also always follow us. It is indeed a great pleasure, but for us, South Africa is almost like a homecoming. Malaysia has always played an important role in the life of our country. You supported us as we were struggling against the apartheid system, but you also strongly supported us as we were now emerging from the oppression of apartheid. Many of our officials, particularly in the international work and foreign relations, were trained here. They came here for a number of courses, and that prepared us very well. And so the visit that we are undertaking today here is quite an important one, and for us quite historic, because our contact both at trade level, investment level, tapered down over the years. And today, due to your insistence, my good friend, Prime Minister, you have insisted that we should recalibrate our relationship, and we should reboot it, revive it, and reposition it. And for me, it's a real joy, and you say it should be more than an emotional coming together. Indeed, it should be, although there is quite a lot of that based on friendship and based on solidarity. It should also be very, very much based on how we should deal with each other on trade, on investment, and support for each other in diplomatic matters, internationally and otherwise. We are particularly happy that we are here, and we also have learned a lot from Malaysia. We've learned from your best practice in many, many ways. Our founding father was received with great warmth when he came here in 1997. So we too still remember that. So this visit builds on many, many years of cooperation that we have had, and we see this visit as being an opportunity for us to revitalize our bonds. And we also thank you for inviting us to participate in ASEAN, and we have also invited you to come and participate in the G20. Not that it's a revenge, but it's something that we have to do. Your participation in the G20 with us is going to lift that summit. We are ready to receive up to 60 heads of state, and we're delighted that you will be amongst the leaders that we will be having. And of particular interest to our countries, the position that Malaysia occupies as a leading global hub.
Yeah, I put it up. I heighten it up because I was speaking. So, okay, cool.
Yelah, kampung lagi belum pergi. Bila kita bawa semua.
Tapi dia kena bayar lah mahal-mahal. Mahal lah tu. Tapi itu yang dekat dengan ni. Tak
Tadi je lah, Ni. Ni, sedekah tu.
Kau ingat kau bapak saya?
Dia office nanti.
Bapak pernah dengar tu. Apa ni kan dia motor F1 habis sebelah ke yang sebelah ni dia tutup orang itu flash
Aku tak sering nanti sama pulang. Kalau sering nanti sama
memang lah aku cakap kau
nanti kau bagi kau bank ni bermula kau bank.
tak 3 hari kau pergi saja bernafas jangan kita aku cakap habis
Tak ada mobil ni. Kak. Oh kak. Masak dulu cepat sikit.
Masak ah.
dia nak belong tu kat belakang masak cepat awal
Dah lama-lama sangat. Jadi, jauh nampak depan ni kereta. Kau pakai tele ke? Hafiz tak pergi tele? Hafiz tak bagi pergi tele?
Ni cukup dah.
Cukup lah. Pasal kita nak bagi dia crop, tak boleh crop.
Ha?
Tak boleh crop. Dah crop je lah. Bukan. Masa kita shoot tu crop tu, kan kita lihat kan? F tu. Itu apa nama dia? F10. Control F10. Aku nak benda tu dekat sini. Dekat sini. Dekat salah satu kat sini. Cuba.
Minta tolong audio mic testing boleh tak? Sorry. London tengah rekod. London tengah rekod audio. Menu.
MC. Okay, nak try audio from London. London nak try jap sound. Untuk MC dengan total. Thank you.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, joint press conference between Malaysia and the Republic of South Africa will begin shortly. You are kindly requested to take your seats and switch your mobile phones to silent mode. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera diucapkan kepada semua hadirin. Pertamanya, boleh? Belum bagi manifesto lagi tu? Boleh? Okay. Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, Mr. Anwar Ibrahim, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank... Okay? All right, thank you. question from the floor? Excellencies.
Test mic.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, joint press conference between Malaysia and the Republic of South Africa will begin shortly. You are kindly requested to take your seats and switch your mobile phones to silent mode. Thank you. announcing the arrival of His Excellency the President of the Republic of South Africa and the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we will now commence with the joint press conference with a statement by the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government and the people of Malaysia, of course it is our honor to welcome our dear friend, President of the Republic of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, and members of the South African delegation. We have, as referred to in our series of meetings today, and my earlier meetings with the President, and lately in Rio, Brazil, we are known to each other, one another, and the fact that our relations has been close even during the apartheid, and our affection for Madiba, Nelson Mandela, is well known. And in fact, I mentioned that we even invited, after the initial reconciliation, with the suggestion of Nelson Mandela, to invite Vice President de Klerk to Malaysia to showcase the multiracial, multireligious entity and the working relations between all the major races in this country. I was also fortunate that soon after I was released from prison in 2004, Nelson Mandela invited me and the family to spend some time with him in Joburg. Before then, I proceeded to Cape Town. So you see, the relationship is not only diplomatic or G2G, but also a very personal and emotional journey in advancing a cause for human dignity, freedom, and justice. President Cyril Ramaphosa, to us, represents also a new voice, a voice of conscience, this tenacity and conviction, defending justice, human rights across the continent in Africa, and more so up to Gaza. They are a very prominent player in the Hague Initiative, in the ICC, and of course on behalf of Malaysian generally, I must also express my profound gratitude for this courage to defend what is right, because historical antecedents is one. Historical experience must teach us. What you went through is, of course, a total hardship, is unimaginable under this period of times, but then you then have to showcase this experience must teach humanity a lesson. In some areas, people unfortunately have not learned. Now, on a bilateral basis, we agreed, both my colleagues, the cabinet members, and yours, have agreed that we need to enhance. The Malaysian strategy is to expand new trading partners, whilst continuing with existing conventional arrangements. We have decided to open up. That's why we are members in terms of expanding the trade, intra-ASEAN trade, and focus in Asia. But we also realize that through BRICS, we have now been very committed to expand our trade relations with Africa and Latin America. And with Africa, South Africa also has a special place of influence and your economic strength, both in the defense, agriculture, and related industries. So we have given assurance that we will continue to collaborate even new areas other than palm oil, which is ongoing, semiconductor, halal, agriculture and defense. We're expanding this to education and research in universities and scientific institutions of research. And the ministers here will have, the various other ministers will then follow this through. Now, again, congratulations, President Ramaphosa, for being given this honor, honorary doctorate in international relations by the University of Malaya. And this is second after Nelson Mandela in 1990. So you can see this strength, the son of South Africa, being honored by Malaysians generally. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. May I now invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, to deliver his statement.
Okay. Well, Honorable Prime Minister and my good friend Anwar Ibrahim, distinguished guests, ministers who are here present, I wish to thank you, Prime Minister Anwar, for the invitation you have extended to us as South Africans, and for the very warm welcome that we witnessed as we were coming in. We have hardly been able to see such a warm welcome, which was displayed not only by your ministers and key officials, but by young people at school and at universities. So that truly warmed our hearts. The ties between our two countries did not start during the period of the struggle against apartheid. It started more than 300 years ago. So there's a lot of history between our two countries. Our nations are bound together by ancestry and a shared resistance to the atrocities of slavery and colonialism. One of my former ministers, who is now writing a book about his own family, traces his history, his family history to Malaysia, and how his forebears were taken to South Africa as slaves, and he has been able to trace it in great detail, which in many ways speaks to the bonds between our two countries. So when we come to Malaysia, it's like coming home. Much as there are memories of sadness, but it is like coming home. And we'd like to thank you for inviting us to come. As the people of South Africa, we will forever remain grateful to the people and the government of Malaysia for your support in our struggle for freedom, but also in the formative years of our democracy. So this meeting today constitutes an important step towards what I would call revitalizing and strengthening our relations. We have reconfirmed that trade and investment opportunities need to be expanded between our two countries, particularly during this period of geopolitical tensions and challenges, where trade is being used as a weapon. We do believe, as you do too, that we need to expand our market base, and having been so closely related to one another and it tapered down over the years, we would like to recalibrate that and make sure that our ties get stronger and stronger. So South Africa will strive to further strengthen our existing collaboration in the many areas of common interest. The momentum which these consultations have generated should not be lost. Beyond yourself and myself, I'm pleased to know that our ministers and our officials have started the collaboration process and will extend it even beyond this visit. We agree that regular meetings of this nature will keep us focused as we strive to reach the full potential of our cooperation, while at the same time strengthening the bonds of solidarity that bind us together. So South Africa attaches great importance to its relations with Malaysia. It is my hope that we will continue to strengthen our friendship and our cooperation as two nations with the various exchanges that we should have. It would be most fitting that we rekindle also our people-to-people relations, especially in education, as you talk about exchanges between our universities, at research level, at student exchange level, and we should also broaden the exchanges at the cultural level and also at the sport level. And of course, you know what a great sporting country we are. We win world championships, not that we're here to boast, but that's the reality. A number of foreign policy issues were also touched upon, as you have also touched on, and these include the situation in the Middle East and particularly Palestine. We are deeply grateful for the support that you have given to South Africa, as South Africa demonstrated its support for the people of Palestine. As you correctly said during our bilateral meeting, our support for Palestine was not just a fanciful act. It is born out of our own experience during our consultation or bilateral. You did mention that the concept of apartheid is also what we see being practiced in that part of the world. And it is this that has motivated South Africa to raise our complaint to the International Court of Justice, a move that you have supported us in, much as it has been risky and fraught with a lot of opposition. But we thank you for acknowledging that it was a courageous move on our part, and we will continue to seek justice for the people of Palestine, like the world sought to see justice for us as South Africans when they also went to the United Nations to declare apartheid a crime against humanity. And we, seeing the genocide that is unfolding in Gaza, saw fit that we should act in the same way that the world acted when they opposed apartheid. And we count you as one of those countries that joined in the opposition against apartheid and also against what is happening in Gaza. We together engage in a number of multilateral forums where at a diplomatic level we work together, and we obviously want to deepen that. And our pull-aside meeting in Brazil led to this rekindling of the relationship between South Africa and Malaysia. And we agreed that we need to strengthen our relations as we strengthen the South-South relations at a global level. And we also discussed how South Africa, as being part of the AU and SADC, can be closely linked to ASEAN. And in this regard, I would like to thank you for inviting South Africa to participate in the ASEAN Summit, which we are grateful for. And we are really pleased that in the spirit of friendship and cooperation between our two nations, you have agreed to honor us with your presence at the G20 Summit, which takes place next month in Johannesburg in South Africa. And we await to welcome you there together with the business delegation that you are going to bring. which will help to solidify our relations at a trade and investment level, and our ministers are going to be fully engaged in crafting memoranda of understanding in a number of areas, in defense, in trade and industry, in agriculture, in areas such as halal foods, and so forth. So we need to upgrade the trade between our two countries. Where we are trading now, the level is just too low. We need to upgrade it to a much higher level. And Prime Minister, in extending the friendship and cooperation between us, I wish to extend to you an invitation to visit South Africa as a state-level visit in 2026. So your visit to South Africa now for the G20 is just the warming up process. So I want you to come in a full-blown visit to South Africa, and we will be honored to welcome you to the most beautiful country in the world, South Africa. But having come to Malaysia for the first time, I now see that South Africa has competition. Malaysia is also beautiful. So you join the ranks of the most beautiful countries in the world. So thank you for welcoming me to Malaysia.
Thank you, Your Excellency President. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we will now open the floor for a question from our media representative. In the interest of time, we will allow only one question to be answered by both leaders.
Good.
May we have the first question from the floor?
Yeah, one question.
One question. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the fact that we are both fortunate countries to be leading ASEAN and us to be leading the G20, and where we are both as countries involved in various engagements, and I've heard that leading up to the ASEAN Summit, there have been more than 250 meetings that your ministers have engaged in. We've also had a similar type of involvement, more than 130 meetings that have encompassed many, many people from various parts of the world. And during those engagements, we have noticed that we are able to extend cooperation across many countries in a number of areas, be it on policy matters, social policy, issues like climate change, issues like, in our case, dealing with national debt issues, national issues like how climate change challenges can be funded and how the cost of capital can be brought down. So all those areas that there's been collaboration in, South Africa has been given leadership. And similarly, I think Malaysia has also been giving leadership in those areas. And most of what we've been focused on is to improve the lives of our people, but to also extend trade and investment. So through these platforms, be it in BRICS, be it in the G20, and be it also in the G7, where we are invited quite often. And even at the UN level, we want to create a better world at the social level, at the economic level, for the peoples of various countries to lead a better life. So we focus on all those issues, but principally on how through economic policies, trade policies, we can improve the lives of people. So that has been the main area of focus for our involvement in those structures. And in the main, our involvement has been quite effective, much as we are a small country of just 62 million people, being in the south of the African continent, far away from many markets, but our involvement at the global level has been quite impactful. And in the recent past, South Africa's stature has been raised, and our voice is heard in many places on various areas that affect the lives of people, economic, social, and otherwise. So it's been an honor for us to be part of the G20 and to be part of BRICS and to participate in various other forums. Thank you.
To follow up on the assertions by the President, I would say that Malaysia is essentially a trading nation. And we believe the globalization and multilateral arrangements. And to affect this change, we have to open up new markets. So, of course, the fundamental concern and priorities, of course, economic collaboration. But in this polarized setting, we realize that discussions should extend to other areas, culture, the arts, research, education, and more so about the essential sentiments and aspirations to protect human dignity and honor. With President Ramaphosa, we discussed this, that there is clearly a deficit in terms of among the political leaders, in terms of protecting honor, dignity, and the lack of compassion. So, other than trading arrangement, which we have to open up, because Malaysia, for example, cannot be totally dependent on a few countries. The market is expanding, the economy is growing, and to ensure our own survival, then we take very pragmatic, practical measures to enhance intra-ASEAN trade, collaborate further effectively with within the region Asia. But I realize, therefore, in this globalized world, we had to secure friends, particularly friends that share a common vision, common ideals. And that's why when I was given the opportunity to chair ASEAN, I said the two countries that I would certainly focus, because I believe in them, and I express the same sentiments with their leaders, so South Africa and Brazil. And I'm so happy, of course, and delighted with my colleagues that they are here. And from here, we move further. But again, the test is not in these meetings. The test is whether we can concretize and execute what we have decided. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister and Your Excellency President. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have now concluded our joint press conference. Announcing the departure of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa and the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia from the hall. The rest of the delegation may proceed to the banquet hall. Thank you.
Banyak waras. Banyak orang bermurah hati nak sedekah telefon kat saya. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good evening. Sorry to keep you waiting. Just now I didn't take any question. I didn't have anything to say during the meeting in progress. I thought it's better for me to just have this session with you all so that we finish our business first for the day and we can see you at this hour. Sorry for keep you waiting. Friends, we have just concluded 4 ministers meeting today in conjunction with the 47 ASEAN Summit as follows. The first one is ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting, AMM. The second one is 30th ASEAN Political Security Community, APAC Council Meeting. The third one, 37 ASEAN Coordinating Council Meeting, ACC. And the last one just now was ASEAN Joint Foreign and Economic Minister Meeting. This is the first time that we have this joint meeting, Foreign Ministers and Economic Ministers Meeting, as suggested by our Prime Minister during the opening of our AMM meeting last July. During AMM meeting, we reiterated our shared commitment to advancing ASEAN community building with a stronger focus on implementation. So enough of declaration, enough of MOU, enough of what, but now is we are focusing on how do we implement it. So this also part of this ASEAN Community Vision 2045. The adoption of ASEAN 2045, our shared future, provides us with a clear and forward-looking direction to guide our collective efforts. The meeting reiterated the importance of upholding ASEAN centrality in leading regional efforts and in facing challenges. During the meeting, we touched on Myanmar. ASEAN continues to reaffirm that 5-point consensus remains as the main reference in addressing the situation in Myanmar. On the election, the meeting agreed the election must be fair, transparent, inclusive, and credible, and we urged the need for inclusive dialogue prior to the elections. On sending ASEAN observers team, we're going to deliberate at a senior officers level, and they will report back to us. We reaffirm the importance of continuity in ASEAN's efforts vis-à-vis Myanmar and discuss the proposal to revise the duration of the term of the Special Envoy of ASEAN on Myanmar. We agreed to task the senior official to further deliberate on the proposal. We expressed the need to strengthen collaboration with the AHA Center to ensure that humanitarian assistance reaches those most in need in accordance with ASEAN's humanitarian principles. We appreciate the contribution by ASEAN member states, external partners, and the United Nations and the private sector towards elevating the humanitarian situation in Myanmar. We touch on the serious threat of transnational crimes emanating from Myanmar to the region. On Timor-Leste's full membership in ASEAN, we witnessed Timor-Leste depositing 2 instruments as follows. Number 1, the instrument of the accession to the ASEAN Charter, and the second one, the instrument of accession to the Treaty on the Southeast Asia Nuclear Weapon-Free Zone, SONFES. On external relations, we underscored the importance of strengthening ASEAN unity and centrality in our engagement with external partners through the various ASEAN-led mechanisms. On the second one, the ASEAN Political Security Community APAC Council meeting. The meeting discussed the recent developments in sectoral bodies under the APAC pillar. We adopted the report of the APAC Council to the 47 ASEAN Summit and endorsed the Anthem Review Report on the APAC Blueprint 2025. We reaffirm the commitment to fully implement the 2045 APAC strategic plan and improve its implementation based on the recommendation of end-term review. We underscore ASEAN's collective efforts in building trust among security agencies, strengthen cooperation in combating transnational crimes, uphold the rule of law, and ensure that the protection of human rights remains central to ASEAN's community building efforts. Meeting on ASEAN Coordinating Council, the 37th ASEAN Coordinating Council meeting, finally the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting series ended with the 37th ACC meeting. The meeting discussed the status of key reports to be submitted at the summit, including the final preparation for Timor-Leste's admission as the full member of ASEAN. We recommended the meaningful progress made by Timor-Leste, particularly in acceding to ASEAN legal instruments, strengthening institutional readiness, and actively participating in ASEAN meetings across all three community pillars. We also encourage the continued extension of support and assistance to Timor-Leste, particularly through contribution to the Timor-Leste unit at the ASEAN Secretariat. We also emphasize the need for Timor-Leste to complete and fulfill all the criteria and the roadmap of Timor-Leste's full membership in ASEAN. We also adopted the ASEAN Blue Economy Implementation Plan 2026-2030. The blue economy remains a key driver for ASEAN's sustainable growth and regional resilience. Malaysia believes that this implementation plan will serve as a practical framework to guide ASEAN's collective efforts in harnessing marine and aquatic resources responsibly and exclusively. With regard to ASEAN Joint Foreign and Economic Ministers Meeting, AMM and AEM, just now, the meeting was convened at the initiative of the Honorable Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister, during the opening of the 58th ASEAN Foreign Ministers Meeting on 9 July 25 for greater synergy between the ASEAN Foreign Ministers and ASEAN Economic Ministers and across ASEAN pillars in an increasingly fragmented world. The Foreign Minister and Economic Ministers as well as representatives were briefed by the ASEAN Geo-Economic Task Force, AGTF, on the current geopolitical and geoeconomic landscape, which is characterized by increasing protectionism, shifting global power dynamics, and overlapping crises. The ministers heard the recommendation by AGTF, including for ASEAN to deepen ASEAN integration, enhance ASEAN's agency, and reinforce multilateralism. The ministers also tasked senior officials in coordination with the ASEAN Secretariat to discuss the recommendation made by AGTF and submit their assessment and proposed way forward. Besides those meetings, we have also the signing ceremony of the Instrument of Accession to the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia, or TAC. We also witnessed the signing of the Instrument of Accession to the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia, or TAC, by Finland. This event marks Finland's accession as the newest high contracting party to the treaty, bringing the total number of parties to 58. So 58 already. Supposed to be 2 countries. Cyprus last minute couldn't make it. In conclusion, our recommendations agreed at ministerial level today will be submitted to ASEAN leaders for deliberation and approval. Thank you. So thank you. So I can go back. Yeah? Yes.
I have 2 questions. I'm coming from Phoenix TV. I have 2 questions. The first question is AGTF was established in response to the tariffs imposed by the United States President Trump. So after more than half a year research, it supplemented the report. What good suggestions are there for ASEAN to deal with issues such as tariffs?
GTF report.
What report is it?
Satu sudah mention tadi kan follow up yang geoeconomic joint meeting tadi.
Oh, geoeconomic.
Follow up, we do the follow up at the official level.
We will follow up at official level and we will deliberate further on that. Second question?
Second question is, you mentioned the new politics increasingly connected with new economics. So now that China and the US trade negotiation is ongoing in Kuala Lumpur, how do you view this negotiation between the two countries? And could you tell us, Foreign Minister, what kind of expectations do you have for the negotiations? Thank you.
We heard there will be discussion on trade between the US and China. I don't have any expectation, but we hope that we cross our finger that China and US come to their sense. Okay. All right? All right. Very much. It's good for the whole world and also for this region. Okay?
Thank you. My name is Oyana. I'm from the Russian news agency.
Wow, you come so far.
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you for having us here today. Congratulations on the success of today's agenda. I have one question for you. Earlier today, you remarked that it's becoming harder and harder for ASEAN to maintain its neutrality amid global tensions. Has ASEAN, under your chairmanship, and Malaysia as well, experienced any concrete pressure to leave behind the neutrality? Thank you.
Not so much harder in per se, but as you know that now that a lot of this so-called the platform, the traditional platform of multilateralism be dismantled, more on bilateral, more on unilateral, all this kind of thing. So we have to navigate ASEAN properly so much so that we maintain our neutrality. The window has become narrow, so ASEAN should put our head together so that we are not succumb to any pressure for any side for that matter. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I'm Dave Rising with the Associated Press. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about how the trade agreement that is expected to be signed tomorrow with the U.S. differs from the simple tariff negotiations that have already taken place. And I don't know whether it came up with your meetings with the economy ministers, but is Malaysia's success in coming up with this trade deal something that is seen as maybe a template or guidance for other ASEAN members that are currently in negotiations?
This is between Malaysia and US, you mean? You are referring to trade?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, we know a little bit, I know a little bit, but basically this is under the purview of the Ministry of Trade and Economy. But I hope that we can conclude the trade deal between US and Malaysia, and what we enjoyed today, 19%, and also zero tariff on E&E, because 60% of Malaysia's export to US is all in the form of E&E. So if we can maintain that, we are very happy.
And is the other ASEAN countries are also in negotiations with the U.S. Is Malaysia's negotiation that is successfully now concluded seen as one that can be used as guidance for others?
I'm not so sure. I cannot be speaking on behalf of other countries, but Malaysia, US, we're going to sign a trade deal tomorrow.
Thank you.
Lian Chu, Sputnik Bureau. I have two questions for you. First, with a new global alignment emerging, how can ASEAN work with partners such as Russia to advance shared development goals? And second question is, what would Malaysia consider a successful outcome to this summit? Thank you.
Let me answer your second question. So we are very happy that we're going to hand over our chairmanship to Philippines in 2 months' time. But in 2 days' time that we're going to give the gavel to Philippines, but we have to finish up our term as chairman of ASEAN until up to the end of December. With regard to relationship with other powers such as Russia, as I mentioned, Malaysia especially and ASEAN for that matter, we maintain our neutrality. Malaysia especially, we are open economy. Our economy based on trade. We trade with everybody, except for those that have been sanctioned by United Nations. Otherwise, we have no issue with other countries. We maintain good rapport. So do ASEAN. Thank you.
Datuk Seri, selamat petang.
Selamat petang.
Nak tanya, saya Samantha dari Bernama. Adakah mesyuarat FM tadi ada membincangkan jemputan Myanmar agar negara anggota menghantar pemerhati pilihan raya?
Itu je soalan dia.
Ada lagi. Perjanjian KL Accord tu, ada yang mendakwa dia bukan perjanjian damai tetapi lanjutan gencatan senjata. So mungkin Datuk Seri boleh berikan apa antara kandungan utama yang akan terdapat dalam dokumen itu. Terima kasih.
Pertama tadi apa?
Observers to Myanmar.
Observers to Myanmar. Saya dah beritahu tadi bahawa ada juga disentuh tentang dalam kita berbincangkan tentang 5-point consensus kerana itu fix agenda kita punya AMM. Disentuh juga berkenaan dengan jemputan Myanmar. Sebenarnya Myanmar menjemput negara-negara ASEAN dan jemputan pun telah dihantar untuk negara-negara ASEAN menghantar pemerhati semasa mereka mengadakan pilihan raya yang fasa pertama pada 28 Disember 25 ini. Kita bincang dan kita mahu supaya peringkat pegawai tinggi berbincang lebih lanjut lagi untuk kita dapat memberikan pandangan dan keputusan yang teliti untuk perkara ini, insyaAllah. Yang keduanya tadi berkenaan dengan
kandungan KL Accord.
Kandungan KL Accord. KL Accord ni sebenarnya bukannya perjanjian damai. Dia adalah merupakan perjanjian gencatan senjata dan juga berkenaan dengan penubuhan ASEAN Observers Team ataupun pasukan pemerhati ASEAN di kawasan yang bergolak. Kita mahu supaya gencatan senjata yang telah pun diadakan sejak daripada Julai selepas kedua-dua Perdana Menteri Cambodia dan Thailand datang dan bersetuju untuk mengadakan gencatan senjata. Kita mahu supaya tidak ada lagi pelanggaran gencatan senjata kerana selepas daripada 28 Julai tersebut, walaupun gencatan senjata telah diadakan tapi terdapat juga orang kata pelanggaran-pelanggaran kecil. Walaupun mereka tak pakai senjata api tapi mereka pakai lastik pula. Jadi kita nak supaya gencatan senjata ini dan antara dia punya kandungan yang besar iaitu gencatan senjata ini dapat dikekalkan dan dapat diimplementasi dengan baik ialah kedua-dua buah negara to remove untuk mengundurkan senjata berat masing-masing daripada kawasan yang berkenaan. Dan kedua ialah supaya kedua-dua negara melakukan usaha untuk demining ataupun mengeluarkan dan memusnahkan periuk-periuk api yang telah ditanam di sepadan kedua-dua buah negara. Itu antara dua perkara yang besar yang akan dicapai dan kita berharap supaya gencatan senjata ini akan berkekalan dan kita menyeru supaya kedua-dua buah negara berusaha berunding duduk semeja untuk mereka menyelesaikan masalah sempadan di kedua-dua buah negara. Malaysia tidak akan campur tangan dalam perkara berkenaan persepadan dua buah negara. Itu adalah merupakan perkara yang antara kedua buah negara. Dan Malaysia menghormati piagam ASEAN iaitu tidak boleh campur tangan dalam apa jua hal ehwal dalaman negara masing-masing. Okay?
Seiichi Oshima from GG Press, a Japanese news agency.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. 今日はありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。
I have a follow-up question on Myanmar.
On Myanmar?
On Myanmar.
I thought Myanmar is already answered.
I have one more actually.
Oh, one more.
Yes,
Okay.
well,
Okay.
When the establishment of the permanent office for the special envoy and the extension of the duration of the special envoy have been discussed since January.
Okay.
And the minister just explained that the discussion has gone further, and there's a discussion about extending the duration. Do you think there is a possibility to extend the duration to, for example, 2 years from 1 year? And if in that case, do you think there is a possibility to increase the number of the special envoy to 2 from 1, one from current chair country, and the second envoy from the chair country from last year?
Wow, very ambitious. Yes, we discussed about the special envoy to the chair of ASEAN, or to Myanmar. We discussed because it was mooted during the AMM last July. There's few school of thought whether we want to extend to a fixed tenure, let's say 3 years, or a fixed special envoy. But the question is, now under our 5-point consensus, that special envoy to the chair of ASEAN. But if this 3 years, what are we going to call that? Then he is responsible to whom? So we're going to deliberate, senior officers again, going to revisit and to discuss this matter, but there's no urgency. There's no urgency whether or not we're going to have a fixed tenure of special envoy or once a year, but we have agreed that all ASEAN member countries, member states, should participate and assist whoever going to be the special envoy to the chair. But that one we agreed. We're going to support because Myanmar is a fixed agenda in our meeting, be it AMM or this head of state meeting. All right. Thank you. Lagi tak ada apa-apa? Wah, bagus. Kalau tak ada, yes. Wah, kau berapa kali nak tanya?
Tak, saja nak confirmation
Yeah.
yang perjanjian gencatan senjata tu, adakah akan sign di sini? Adakah akan berlaku perubahan?
Kau ni macam tahu balik baca orang.
Oh, tak jadi tak apalah Datuk Seri.
No, you mean kata di sini, this building.
Adakah akan di-sign di sini?
Dia tanda tangan tu confirm. Akan ditandatangani. Tapi di mana saya tak boleh beritahu lah.
Kalau ikut jadual itinerary tu, memang ada satu slot sign di sini. So
Yeah.
that's what time balik.
Yeah. Kalau ada perubahan nanti saya beritahu.
Okey, terima kasih
Alright.
Datuk Seri.
Okay.
Mengenai perjanjian itu, Datuk Seri, adakah akan ditandatangani oleh PM Thailand? Sebab ada laporan mengatakan dia minta dipercepatkan ke sebelah pagi.
Macam mana?
Adakah akan ditandatangani oleh PM Thailand? Sebab hari ini dia tak dapat hadir kan? Adakah dia akan hadir esok? Dan ada laporan mengatakan dia minta perjanjian itu dipercepatkan ke sebelah pagi.
Perdana Menteri Thailand tak boleh hadir lagi kerana kemakatan Queen Sirikit. Kita mengucap takziah kepada keluarga diraja Thailand dan juga kepada semua rakyat negeri Thailand. Walau bagaimanapun Perdana Menteri Thailand akan dijangka tiba pada malam ini, dan kita sedang mengundingkan masa yang sesuai kerana masa ni banyak bergantung kepada jadual Presiden Trump. Kita dah ada kita punya jadual, tapi kita tak tahu jadual dia macam mana. So kita akan lihat macam mana nanti apabila Presiden Trump telah tiba di sini, sama ada kita masih lagi kekalkan masa yang sama ataupun kita mengubah sesuai masanya. Tapi jelas sekali bahawa pagi besok kita akan ada kita punya upacara peresmian kita punya 47 Summit, dan selepas itu akan ada sidang plenary dan retreat, dan sebelah petang akan ada special summit dengan US. Lepas tu ada sebelum itu Japan summit Jepun ASEAN, India ASEAN, ya. Dan ada juga summit ASEAN Zero Emission Community and ASEAN India, ya. So kita terpaksa campur adukkan kerana selalunya dalam mesyuarat ketua negara ni hari pertama tu strictly for ASEAN punya business. Tapi kerana macam Jepun, Perdana Menteri Jepun yang baru datang terpaksa segera balik ke Tokyo kerana Presiden Trump akan ke Tokyo. Presiden India pula dia nak balik awal, tapi last minute dia tak dapat. Tapi kita dah fixkan bahawa beliau akan ambil bahagian dalam ASEAN India Summit melalui talian. Okay?
Konnichiwa, again from Japanese newspaper Yomiuri Shimbun. Thank you for today. Frankly speaking, can ASEAN reach a common position on whether to recognize or admit Myanmar's election?
Oh, you ask me frankly speaking. All this while you think I'm not being frank? Then why you ask me? Why you come here if you think that I'm not frank enough?
I want to know how you think.
As I mentioned just now, that we already instructed, or we already tasked our senior officers to monitor and to report to us. And Special Envoy has a very big task to report the situation there. And because to us, we remain firm on these elections must be fair, transparent, and inclusive. That is the principle of ASEAN. More, I think, less than that, I think, quite difficult for ASEAN to, recognize the elections.
Thank you so much.
That's why we encourage the government to have dialogue with the stakeholders, and stakeholders be allowed to participate in the election. Okay? That's not frank enough to you? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Sri. In the event that Myanmar's election...
Why you ask about Myanmar? This other thing, ASEAN, Myanmar. Yeah.
The event that, there's signs that the election might not be fair and inclusive, will ASEAN have take a position on whether or not to recognize the legitimacy of the election? And also, will we see other trade deals between the US and other ASEAN countries, aside from Malaysia, tomorrow?
That's why I mentioned just now that we task our senior officer to really study and to really, check this election on Myanmar, what is the situation there, whether the election is fair, transparent, and inclusive. The position of the ASEAN, as I mentioned, is very clear, okay? The other one just now about trade, what you call it?
Other ASEAN countries, other trade.
Other ASEAN countries, actually, I don't know, because I cannot be speaking on behalf of other countries. But Malaysia, US, yes, we're going to have our trade deal agreement with US tomorrow. Yep. Okay, terima kasih. Arigato gozaimashita.
Wait,
yeah?
One more question.
One more. Suddenly you wake up. What?
Sorry. Just in time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Leonardo Pape for German newspaper, Taz.
Oh.
I have two questions.
Yes.
One is, will there actually be any more joint communication in ASEAN to take a common position in the trade conflict with the United States? Because there were actually thoughts to find a common position, against the tariff threats, and afterwards all the countries seem to just unilaterally make trade deals with the US. But so is there any more attempt to actually find a common position among ASEAN?
We didn't discuss about trade or tariff issue during our meeting, and it is good for each individual country have their own statement and dealing direct with the US. And I think President Trump, for that matter, he is rather comfortable to deal bilaterally rather than bilaterally, so that there's no common statement from ASEAN on that issue. Okay?
And the other question is, tomorrow also EU Council President Antonio Costa, he's coming here, at least that's as far as I know. What is the ASEAN relation with the EU going to develop like, and how do you see the EU as a partner?
We invited EU President as a guest of chair for this summit, and for your information, ASEAN now is the final stage of negotiating ASEAN-EU FTA. And I think we're progressing very well. And hopefully that we can conclude this FTA ASEAN-EU soon. All right. Thank you. Terima kasih.